Okay, so games of skate are like a really good way to improve your skating, but I think there's like a few unwritten rules of games of skate, and when people break those rules, it kind of like turns you off from playing them, at least maybe with that person. So I asked you guys on Instagram what you thought were like the unwritten game of skate rules or like just game of skate etiquette. So today I'm gonna set up a board, and this is Aaron. Say hello.
What up?
Aaron's gonna give hot takes, and I'm gonna give hot takes on your guys' response to unwritten rules of games of skate. All right, so here is unwritten rule number 1 from J Skate Day. His unwritten rule is landing solid when setting. You can't toe drag or land by rules sketchy, but proper is best.
It's a cold take. I mean, I don't think anybody's going to say anything about that. If you do know your homies, if you're skating with your homies and you do know it's like maybe a banger for them or maybe a new banger for them, I like let it slide. It's like not a big deal, you know what I mean? But I guess if it's more serious against someone maybe you don't know or something, you know, I guess keep them a little more strict. But you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, if someone like throws down something, we're like, oh, sheesh, dude.
Yeah.
Like, okay, like whatever.
If it's like an NBD for them and there's like a little bit of toe drag. But yeah, if you're with somebody else like that doesn't know the context, you can't expect them to like let it slide. And nobody likes to be the guy that's like calling somebody out, you know? I feel like there's like an unwritten rule that you should like call it your own toe drag. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know.
I definitely feel like there's your main level base rules that everybody should know and like abide by that you can then tweak like if you know the person. But yeah, by default, coldest take I've ever seen in my life. It's pretty standard, you know what I mean? Martin
R. John says, feel shame when you need to whack something. So we were talking about flat ground games of skate, but I guess let's talk about full park games of skate. Is that bad to whack something in a game of skate? Should you feel shame?
Such a rare occurrence that I don't really know. I don't know, dude.
I don't think, we used to play lots of game of skate, but it was never like a full park. It's just standard flat ground. I don't think there's any shame in waxing anything, though. I think you need to get over yourself.
There might be some inner shame if you're just lying to yourself that like waxing is the problem when you know it's not the problem. Because I think I think we can all be a little guilty of that, going like, oh, dude, I know that. You know, I've been hitting some stuff and going like, oh man, I'm getting stuck, and then some other guy comes flying through and hits it no problem. So like, don't lie to yourself. But apart from that, it's not too big of a deal. Like, if you truly know that's the issue, like, you know, wax it up, dude, you know? Next response by Sem Skates. Don't copy opponent's trick. I'm assuming they mean, like, the opponent is attempting the trick and failing, so then you kind of swoop in and sweep it from them.
That's low.
It's low. It's scummy. It's low. I think we agree with that one. If it's your homie, again, I guess it's hilarious. So like, you could do that if you want.
Trying to be a douchebag, do that.
But yeah, I guess it depends how much you know each other and if that's like agreed upon.
Yeah.
And even then, it's only chill if like you guys both know that you both have the trick. And you're just kind of like competing to do it first. But in general, yeah, like, especially because we're not pros out here, dude. It's not like, you know, homie might be trying his heart out on this trick, and if you just sweep in and trying to sneak that under him, you know.
I think for me, it's like if they're trying a trick, but then they switch to another trick and give it maybe like they tried the new trick like 1 or 2 times, then you're fine to go ahead and swoop. But yeah, if they're like, I'll do this sometimes. Like if I'm trying to like mess with them, and it's just like a friendly game of skate, and I'm just trying to be a douche. I'll do their trick because they've been trying it, and then I'll, you know, it just as like a joke, but like I would never do that to somebody I didn't know. You know what I mean? Like, kind of got to read the room.
I mean, it's something weird to do, literally just skating the park. You're not even playing a game of skate.
That's
like,
the worst.
Someone's trying something, and you come in and you start doing it, like that's
the worst.
That's already a no-go, so when it's a competition kind of thing, it's even worse.
Yeah.
So, good take, Sem Skates. Ooh, this is hot right here. Noah R. 415's response says, skate fast.
I am guilty of skating slow. I wish I skated faster, but I completely agree with this. Especially, like, I hate it when people are like, especially when you're setting the trick, okay? If you're on defense, I can understand, like, skating slow, but if you're setting a trick and you're, like, trickling along, like, half a mile an hour, like, no. I think there's like an unwritten rule of like self-respect that it's like, I don't know, if you're on offense, you can't be just giving yourself every chance to make it. You're already on offense, you already have the advantage, you're choosing what trick you do. Like, yeah, you should skate, maybe not fast, but like medium. And I guess fast is relative to like you and who you skate with and all that, but you definitely should not be like skating like a lot slower than your opponent, especially if you're just like going through the basic tricks. If it's getting to like some crazy stuff and you're defending like something that you can't do, then I feel like that's a different story. But especially if you're setting the trick, I feel like that, yeah, that's an unwritten rule. Like, you can't like skate slow when you're setting.
Yeah, I agree with that. Just crank it up a little bit. Just like I'm guilty of this for sure, but it's just tack on an extra 20% speed or something. Like, there's a threshold you can meet that's honestly not too fast. It's not even that bad anyway. And yeah, basics, fast. If it's something wacky, then yeah, I mean, go slow, I guess.
But defense is a whole nother story. Like, if it's like a trick you've never landed before and you're trying to defend it, it's like, I can understand you going slow. But yeah, offense, definitely feel like that's an unwritten rule.
But again, your opponent might not know that, so he's just watching you roll like 3 miles an hour going like, I don't know what's going on with this guy, you know, so.
Yeah, I think a lot of it depends on like homies versus like somebody you don't know.
Oh, Train Wreck's response. My bad, T Rain Rex response. TW Rain Rex response?
To a rain?
It's skateboarding, make them up as you go. Guy doesn't give.
He doesn't care.
He doesn't care.
I disagree. I disagree. I just think there's rules, man. Like, it's just like, obviously you can do whatever you want, like, free to do that, but like, that's not what like etiquette is about. It's about like being courteous to the other person, making sure they're also having a good time. So doing whatever you want at the expense of somebody else, I think, is lame. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. Like, we're just talking etiquette here. It's not actual rules or anything. Based on the other person I'm skating against, like, I totally change up things and be more courteous, whether that's I go easier or I'm the one that sucks, so I got to change stuff. Like, it's always good to be wary of the other person.
That's just, being courteous is just, that, you know, that's the unwritten rule. Even if it's like cutthroat and like you're really trying to win, like, you always have to be courteous.
All right, next one is Ian Bean. This person's going a little harder than the other guy from earlier. This person's saying, don't set a trick the other person has tried already.
Yeah, I disagree. I disagree with that. You can't do it back to back, but if they tried it and they're not getting it, then you can swoop.
Let some time go by and then swoop in. It's whatever.
There needs to be a buffer period. So you're not just like, they tried it once and then you're like, I'm taking it. Like, you need to, they try it, they switch to a different trick, and then you can take it.
Did you nail down that buffer period?
No. I think it just depends on the vibe, but I would say if you're being really courteous, give it like, they switch to a new trick and try a new trick or a different trick or multiple different tricks. 2 turns, explaining this horribly. I think they should, if you're being really nice, you should give them 2 attempts of different tricks before stealing the trick that they initially tried. I don't know if that made any sense. Maybe you can explain. Do you know what I'm...
You're losing me, dude, but I would just say, like, I like to see 1 or 2 completed tricks go by. Like, completed tricks go by. You know what I mean?
As long as I feel like there is an intentional buffer there, I feel like, again, it's like, it's about being courteous, and if they can see that you're not just like...
I mean, this is like hard, like, the person tries a kickflip and they fail, you're saying, like, you never get to attempt that the rest of the game?
Yeah, that's...
Like, that's...
No, that's way too harsh.
It's a little stringent.
I want to know what you guys think about that one in the comment. What's like the proper etiquette for stealing someone's trick?
We got Noah Skates. It just says no Malto manual shit.
I think that's obvious.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious. I don't know how that ever snuck through.
I mean, was that even a serious game of skate? He was like playing, who was he playing? Chris Roberts or something? Donovan Strain? I don't know. I feel like that was not even like a serious game of skate when he did that.
It would be sick to have subset games of skate that are sitting around manual combos, but...
Yeah, that would be like Day One, Chris Haslam.
Oh, this is a good topic right here, dude. Amos skateboarding. The last letter must be a difficult trick for you.
I like that. Honestly, I don't think it's an unwritten rule per se, because what if the game's carrying on and you're just like, I need to get this game over with? But I do think that's a respectable thing to do. Like, last trick, try and make it a banger.
Make it a banger, gives them some time to make up.
Keep it competitive.
It's going to make the other person feel good when they lose, because they know one you tried for, and they know they're going to, like, lose on something that's probably a banger for them also, which is a lot better than, like, something basic that they just messed up on trice and that's how the game ended. Kind of deflating the game a little bit.
I usually try and get early letters on like basic stuff. I go through all the basics and just wait for them to like mess up on, you know, try and get the early letters on easy stuff and then the later letters on like actual like real tricks.
Don't try to do a trick that another person's trying. We've already just went over that. This person's just saying, the John Anthony Cortez is saying, look at the 9 Club Clips episode.
Yeah, we're gonna get to the 9 Club episode in just a second.
Ooh, Chaboy, Nene. Pressure flips are uncalled for.
My personal take on it is a regular pressure flip can slide. It is kind of dirty, but it can slide. I can't do them, but I
just the basic one.
But if you're doing like nollie pressure flip or pressure kick flip or pressure heel flip, that's an insane amount of like illegality. I feel like that's super under the belt.
Next thing from Tommy Beats is just don't do a pressure flip on the first trick.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's like whoa, dude. Are you gonna be wacky the whole time here, or like what's going on? You know.
That's kind of a cheap shot from the beginning, but yeah, like maybe like second, third, fourth letter. I feel like it's a little cheap on the last. I hate seeing games of skate end on a pressure flip.
Again, that's just deflating the entire like.
Unless you know they have pressure flips. Like if somebody's got pressure flips and you're like, okay, we already did pressure flip. Let me do like pressure flip revert, or like, you know, something that's like within their wheelhouse. But just like, I don't know, pressure flip's such a weird trick. I feel like that's kind of scummy to end a game on a pressure flip. But letters 3, 4, and 2, 3, and 4.
Yeah, somewhere in the mid game, you just throw that in. Like, yeah, that's something I can just kind of do, whatever. It's fine. Ramen Poppy 3 just says no feet or hands on the ground.
Man, yeah, and believe it or not, a lot of people don't care about that. Like, people will land and put their hands on the ground. That bothers me. I'm triggered.
No complies?
Obviously, no. And
feet on the ground. And that's feet on the ground.
Yeah, no complies.
Okay. Yeah, just making sure.
Yeah, no complies unless you specifically say, are we doing no complies? Because that's fun too.
Because I took this the same way. I thought I was talking about falling, but then I was like, oh, no complies are like actual tricks that are...
Yeah. If you say that no complies are allowed, then sure. But another unwritten rule that's in here from TJ Edits, saw this beforehand, is default to the barracks rules. I just think everybody should know the barracks rules by now. If you're going to play a game of skate with somebody, you shouldn't be asking them all these questions. It should just be like, we all know the barracks rules. We're going to stick to barracks rules. Unless we decide we want to add no complies or manual combos or something like that. But
I would say you're pretty corny. Like, if you go up to a random person, you know those are the default rules, but then you also ask like, hey, can we do like, just roll with the default rules, dude. Like, it's sick that you could...
it's your homie.
It's your homie, whatever. But if it's sick that you can, like, it's sick, okay, you can do no comply trick or something, but like, worry about that on your own time, you know? Like, I don't know. McDonald's the third. Leaving your board in drop position for too long when somebody is doing a trick.
Again, I think this is full park game of skate kind of stuff, or maybe their general skate park etiquette, which okay. I guess, yeah, that applies, but we're talking specifically about games of skate.
If your toes touch and the other doesn't see, redo the trick.
That's honorable.
It's honorable.
It's honorable. Not completely necessary, I think. Like, maybe the game's heated and you're getting like, but that's the right thing. That is the right thing to do.
It's inside of your heart, dude. You don't want to go sleep at night knowing you...
Right. Or, you know, you win the game, but it's like, did you win the game? Because, I mean, that foot was on the ground.
Like, if it's a basic trick for you, dude, you need to be redoing that, because it's like, you don't want to be having that weigh on your conscience forever. TJ Edits just says barracks rules. Haku Boy says do some tricks your opponents can do.
Okay, so this is where it gets interesting with like the whole P-Rod on the 9 Club thing, because P-Rod's like, you should just go for the throw. You should just go for the throw, like, don't even care, like, just try and end the game, like, because he says if you really care about your friend and you want them to get better, you're gonna be like the best version of yourself to like try and take them out, and that's gonna like make you both better. I don't know, do you think that trying to take out your opponent like from the get is that the best thing for you to improve, or is it better to kind of like do some basic tricks first and kind of get the game going? You know what I mean?
I love whipping through the basics, but again, we're talking about like a professional here, so I feel like he has a weird, you know, a crazy skewed view where it's like,
that's what I thought.
All of us have the basics, so it's like, yeah, do whatever. But for us normal people out here, dude, I love just ollie, nollie, 180s, kick flips, shove it's, whatever, you know, like, not really satisfying when the game ends in 3 seconds. And for me at least, it's about practice, like at our level, and so I think it like really helps you get out all the basics, and I think it's funner to have long games. Like, I think it's satisfying to still let your opponent be satisfied by at least being able to hit some simple stuff on defense before, you know, getting slapped, if you're gonna do the slapping, dude.
If it's a competitive game, I can see where P-Rod's coming from, but I think you're right. His view of the world is so skewed by the fact that he is like, you know, maybe the greatest of all time, and he skates with such high level skateboarders that it's like, for them, I feel like that is like pushing your opponent to improve and like going for the throw and like focusing from the beginning. But I think for regular people, I personally think it's okay to, you know, start slow. I think it's better for consistency and improvement.
I think it's about practicing, so.
But I guess the end goal is like, are you and your homies like really trying to push each other to get better? And if doing the basics first is doing that, I think that's the right move. If going for the throat is gonna push your homies to be better, then that's the right move. But it's all about, you know, trying to get better for a pro that probably looks different than average people like us.
So that's why, like, in general, for me, on average, the best game of skate would just be doing both, just because you don't know what might help that person improve. They might need either or both. It's always going to help someone to try to like throw some crazy stuff, and
yeah, definitely like go
don't
for
see
stuff
why
they don't have. but maybe just not right out of the gate. I don't know.
But I don't see why it doesn't hurt to just throw down some basics really quick too. Caveman SP, don't do pressure flips. Again, this didn't come to my mind, like I can't do them, but if I could, I probably wouldn't do them.
Interesting.
I don't think I would do that.
I would do a regular pressure flip mid-game, just because, I don't know if you guys saw Cater's part that he put out. He's like
so sick.
He is making pressure flips like normal. You know what I mean? Like,
well, if it becomes normal, then yeah.
There are some people that can just do pressure flips like really good looking. So I don't know. That's
our generation is like nobody did that. So maybe that's changing, dude.
I wouldn't, even though I can't get them, like I wouldn't be bummed to take a letter on a pressure flip.
All right, I'm D Reese. What does a gentleman's third mean? It says gentleman's third.
This is JD. He's a homie here in St. George. He watches George Poulos. And George Poulos, when he plays games of skate with his friends, they always give each other 3 tries on the last.
Oh.
I think that's stupid. What do you think?
It's whatever. I don't know.
I think it's dumb. It's like, you already got an extra try. I guess I'm a little bit in like the P-Rod feeling of like, be like a little bit more cutthroat, like a little bit less forgiving, like especially on the last try. You already get 2. I guess if it helps you and your homies to improve, then like do it. But I also think that like, if you can't focus up and get it in 2 tries, like you don't deserve to keep going. What do you think?
It's whatever. I don't know. It's whatever. I have a buddy who's learning stuff right now. I give him like 3 tries every letter. But they're homies. Again, like the homie rule like upsets anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can do whatever you want. It's what it like. Yeah, it just depends how competitive it is. It's more casual. Like you could do like 2 tricks every letter. I don't know. 2 tries every letter. But
you shouldn't ever expect anybody to give you gentleman's third. Or like what you're saying, like get multiple tries or whatever. You should never expect like anybody to give you like room for error or like forgiveness. Like, you should expect to go by Barrick's rules, and if they're offering it, it's up to you to take it or not. But I don't think you should ever put that on somebody like gentleman's third, and it's like, oh, this is how I do it. Like I always take 3 tries on the last. You should never do that to anybody. But if they offer, then that's up to you.
Okay, I think we're on the last one. Envy Kuma. If you do a trick in another stance, you must land and roll in that stance after landing, in parentheses, offense. I mean, you can one up that and say in your regular stance too. I don't know why that'd be excluded.
Yeah.
I guess maybe they're saying that one's obvious, but I guess they're almost saying like if you're not good enough to like do it and like roll in and out of it, then don't do it at all.
Tic-tacking away is one thing. Like maybe like you should redo it if it's a tic-tac, or like if it's a really bad tic-tac, like I personally would redo it. But specifically if you tic-tac and switch your stances, like you do a fakie flip and then you turn around, you do a tic-tac and turn around and then right away regular, no, you got to redo that. That's not a half cab flip, it's not a fakie flip, it's something vague. You need to redo that.
Yeah, I just want to emphasize like rolling in the stance, like the rolling part. Like even if you stay in the stance, like I do a lot of tricks fakie, and if I was to roll to a standstill, do the trick and not move, I mean, there's no, at that point, what's the differentiator between that and a regular trick, or what's the difference between a nollie trick and a switch trick if you did a borderline not in motion and rolling away?
Yeah.
And then it almost defeats the purpose of like, oh, I did it in this stance, you know what I mean? Like who's to say what stance that really was?
I want you to tell me in the comments below, what is the biggest unwritten rule for games of skate for you? Leave a comment. Remember to make every single day a Friday, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.